In the summer of 2019, the city of Harlow Falls welcomed its newest resident with open arms. He drove a black Bentley. He wore a watch that cost more than most people's houses, and he told anyone who would listen that he was about to transform their quiet little town into the next Silicon Valley. His name was Marcus Cole, and every single thing about him was a lie. Harlow Falls was the kind of town that had been forgotten by time. The old textile mill had closed 15 years ago. The main street had more empty storefronts than open ones, and the people who lived there were desperate, not in a dramatic way, but in the quiet, exhausting way that small towns get desperate when hope has been slowly draining away for years. So when Marcus Cole walked into the mayor's office that Tuesday morning with a leather briefcase and a smile that could light up a room, nobody asked too many questions. He said he represented a private investment group called Vantage Capital Partners. He said they had identified Harlow Falls as a prime development opportunity. He placed a glossy folder on the mayor's desk, full of charts, projections, renderings of gleaming new buildings where the old mill used to be. 300 jobs, a tech hub, a hotel, a revitalized downtown. The mayor shook his hand before he even finished the presentation. Here's what nobody knew about Marcus Cole. He had done this before. Not in Harlow Falls, in 3 other towns across 2 different states over the past 6 years, each time a different name, a different backstory, a different fake company. The formula was always the same. First, establish credibility. Marcus rented the most expensive office space in town. He drove the Bentley everywhere. He ate at the best restaurant every Friday night and always picked up the tab for whoever was sitting nearby. He donated $5,000 to the local youth baseball team, a check that cleared because Marcus understood that small investments bought enormous trust. Second, create urgency. He told the mayor, the city council, and the local bank that Vantage Capital was also looking at 2 other towns, that the board was meeting in 6 weeks to make a final decision, that Harlow Falls needed to show good faith commitment if they wanted to be chosen. Third, ask for something small, not the big money, not yet, just a facilitation fee to cover legal costs for the development agreement, just $80,000, practically nothing compared to the $40 million deal on the table. The city council voted unanimously to approve it. It was a woman named Diana Reyes who first got suspicious. Diana was 34, worked at the local credit union, and had been quietly researching Vantage Capital Partners ever since Marcus walked into town. Something about him bothered her. She couldn't explain it first. Maybe it was the way he deflected specific questions. Maybe it was the watch. Maybe it was just instinct. She searched the registration. Nothing. She searched his name. Nothing useful. She called the addresses listed on his business card. Disconnected numbers. She brought her findings to the mayor. He told her she was being paranoid, that she was going to scare off the best thing that had ever happened to Harlow Falls. So Diana did something else. She contacted a journalist friend in the city. 3 weeks later, Marcus Cole asked for the second payment, this time $200,000 for permits and federal compliance processing. The bank manager, a man named Gerald Finch, who had been golfing with Marcus every weekend for a month, personally fast-tracked the transfer. The money left the account on a Thursday afternoon. By Friday morning, Marcus Cole's office was empty. The Bentley was gone. The phone was disconnected. The email address bounced, and Vantage Capital Partners, as Diana had already proven, had never existed at all. The town of Harlow Falls had lost $280,000, and Marcus Cole was already 400 miles away, in a new town, with a new name, carrying a new leather briefcase. But this time was different, because Diana Reyes hadn't stopped digging. Her journalist friend had published the story. A detective in a neighboring county had read it and recognized the pattern. It matched an unsolved case from 2017, then another from 2015, then another. The net was closing. Marcus Cole, whose real name, it turned out, was Daniel Merritt, was arrested 7 weeks later at a diner in New Mexico. He was eating pancakes. He didn't run. He just looked up at the detective, put down his fork, and said, "I figured someone would catch up eventually." At sentencing, the judge asked him why. Why had he done it? What was the point? Daniel Merritt thought about it for a long moment. Then he said, "Because people want to believe, and I gave them something to believe in." He was sentenced to 11 years. The $280,000 was never fully recovered, but Harlow Falls got something else instead. Diana Reyes was offered a position as the town's new financial oversight director. She built a fraud prevention program that was later adopted by 14 other small towns across the state. The old mill site, a local developer, an actual one, broke ground 2 years later. No glossy folders, no leather briefcase, just a handshake and a building permit. Sometimes the story doesn't end with the con artist. Sometimes it ends with the person who refused to look away.